one more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast live on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much for tuning in. Got a good show lined up for you, but we got a special guest in the building. Y'all already know who it is, man. Big brother EJ Jones, man. What's going on, E? How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It's Mr. Friday Night, EJ Jones, Saints fan. How y'all doing tonight?
Yeah, man. So excited to talk to you, E, man. I know you got a lot to say about the black and gold, man. And before we even get started, man, I just want to say thank you to everybody who checked out the interviews I conducted with college football and pro football analyst Mike Detillier. Y'all probably know him from WWL's The Second Guest Show. He does that every Monday with a former quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, Bobby Hebert, and also Mike Triplett, man, ESPN National Saints reporter. So he was also on the show. Want to say thank you to those guys that, took part in the show. I know they been watching the show as well, so I want to say thank you to them. And also, man, I got to plug this, E, before we get started. Next Wednesday, we have the voice of the New Orleans Saints, former offensive lineman, Zach Strief, will be on the show this Wednesday, man. So if you don't have anything to do at 4 p.m., come and check us out, man, on State of the Saints podcast. Zach Strief will be on the State of the Saints podcast. The biggest guest. Don't disrespect the Mike Detillier, Mike Triplett. But when you have a former Super Bowl champion and a voice of the Saints on the show, man, I'm very excited about that. So check it out this Wednesday, man. Zach Strief will be on the State of the Saints podcast. But E, man, we got some things we need to discuss, man. We need to talk about Marcus Davenport, man. Now, Marcus Davenport, he talked to the media. You know what I'm saying? He talked to the media and he was discussing some of the ups and downs he had over the last 2 seasons. And it's no surprise to anybody in the Who Dat Nation, E, that Marcus Davenport has dealt with injury. I mean, he shows flashes on the field, but by the time you start to get comfortable with his play, he gets hurt. And, he understands that, but he also says that he wants to focus on the 2020 season. And he even said he wants to be better than Cam Jordan, bro. So I want to know, what do you think about Marcus Davenport going into the 2020 season? And do you think that it's a possibility that he could possibly be better than Cam Jordan?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're supposed to have those goals and aspirations for yourself. I mean, right. Cam Jordan had 15 and a half sacks last year. Yep. So he's supposed to have goals and aspirations. So if Davenport go out and have 3 sacks, everybody's man, that dude was hurt. He ain't a first round pick. Or if you go out and have 18 sacks, I know he can do it. I know he can do it. So he's supposed to have those goals and aspirations for yourself or whatever. He's supposed to want to be better than Cam Jordan. And hopefully he's learning something from Cam Jordan. And I heard the interview was about 16 minutes. I mean, it seemed like he is learning something from Cam Jordan. Yeah, football is a business, but he said not to take it so seriously or whatever. Try to simplify things. Try to make things easier for yourself and just go out there and have fun. If you can work out and everything and try to get some of that secret sauce that Cam Jordan have for playing 9 seasons without missing a game, that'll be real good for him, though, and for his career. So.
Exactly. And you actually brought that up, man. Like, you actually posted that on your Facebook page, Emmanuel Jones Sr., for those that don't know, man. Y'all check him out on Facebook. But you actually posted that on your Facebook page that Cam Jordan Crazy. Never missed a game, man, in 9 years, going into his 10th season. But Marcus Davenport has huge shoes to fill, man, like huge. And I think he does have what it takes, man. I'm not one of those people that's ready to give up on him. Look, I understand, man. I'll tell you, E, I was actually at Planet Fitness when the NFL draft was going on back in 2018. And I stopped working out because I knew for a fact that the Saints were about to get Lamar Jackson. I knew it. I was like, man, they about to get Lamar. They moved up. They traded with the Green Bay Packers. They about to get Lamar Jackson. Then all of a sudden, here comes yet again a guy that people don't really know. Okay, just like this year with Cesar Ruiz. I mean, unless you're like a diehard college football fan like yourself, I'm pretty sure you know who he was. But if you're just an average, I mean, you're like an encyclopedia. But for the average fan, they didn't know who he was. So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I will say there are two games that had he really showed like he's a freak of nature. That game when the Saints played the Redskins, where Alex Smith was a quarterback and Drew Brees broke the record for more yards, you know what I'm saying, than any other quarterback in history. And also in that Vikings game, man, when I mean, dude is a freak of nature, and he reminds me a lot of Jadeveon Clowney. Like that's why I don't understand like why the Who Dat Nation are like, man, why we need to get Clowney. Like you have Clowney in the Saints facility. Like I'm talking about as far as the skill set, the ability, the freakish nature, you have that in Davenport. The problem is we don't see that for a 16-game season, like you just said. And I feel like if he can actually get on the field for 16 games, all of the Clowney talk, all of the Everson Griffin talk will be extinguished. He's that good, man. Like he's really good. Like I went back and I watched some of the footage. I watched some of his technique. One big issue I think that stood out, E, is he needed to get a little bit stronger, which I seen some photos of some team photos. He looks bigger than he ever has. And he looks like he, you know what I'm saying, look like he's been working out in the off season. So that's a plus. But E, do you think this is going to be the year where he could actually get double-digit sacks?
I do. I mean, I think this could be the year that he can get double-digit sacks. The thing about the NFL and everything, you hear all these guys moving their chef in their house, they move their trainer in their house and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So football, it's more than just you getting in the 3-point stands or 2-point stands and rushing the passer.
True.
I mean, you do what you're supposed to do in football all throughout the week. I mean, you eat the right things that you're supposed to eat. Listen to how these football players talk about it. They're on certain diets. You got to eat at a certain time. They lift at a certain time, but they rest at a certain time too. Yeah. So he got to harness that. I know he's still a young player, but if you could get with somebody like a Cam Jordan, somebody, like I said, man hadn't missed a game in 9 years. I mean, you get with somebody like that, you can learn a lot from him. And rushing the passer, that's like the latter part of the work. I mean, you got to do stuff to take care of your body and everything. If you don't take care of your body, you know it's going to let you down and you're going to miss games. So you might have serious injury like that. But back to your original question, you asked if he can have double-digit sacks. I mean, honestly, I anticipate him having double-digit
like we have having a little bit.
It's tailor-made for him. This defense, I think, is tailor-made for him, and I think he can have that kind of production. I think, especially with Rankins in them in the middle.
Yeah. Well, we had a little bit of technical difficulties right there. I heard the tail end of what you said. As far as like having mentors like Cam Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a possibility. You said that he can have double-digit sacks. But this is what I'm saying right here, and I have a statement, but I'm gonna go ahead and address the chat real quick, man. Give a special shout out to some of those that are listening right now. We got Brian in the building, a regular to the State of Saints podcast. She also a regular. Dada Saints #1, man. What's going on, man? Got my boy Jared Poor, the original, the OG of the State of Saints podcast, says the Jones brothers, and we also have a $5 donation from none other than Tom Brady. Tom Brady is on the show. He says, I
what
hope
you doing up in here?
he says, I hope Breeze don't still own no belts because he gonna be spanking me twice this season, and I don't want it to hurt too bad. So thank you very much, Tom Brady, for donating the $5. We're looking forward to that week 1 matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My guy Chemo is in the building, man. Chemo, man, special shout out to you, man. Always encouraging, man. Always hitting me up on social media, man. Shouts out to him. Ricky Smith says, what up, TJ? What's going on, Ricky? Got my boy Johnny Steele, courtesy of Facebook, says, hold on, let me click on this. He says, I don't want to be done with Davenport just yet. I do see him being a great player, but we all know football is a business, and you only have so long to prove yourself before you can get let go. Well, here's the thing, Johnny. You're absolutely right about that statement that you just made. I can't even debate that. You're absolutely right. Okay. But the thing about it is, when you are drafted at a certain position, you know what I'm saying? When you're drafted at a certain time, I think my big brother EJ having some technical difficulties, so I apologize for that. But when you are drafted at a certain position, okay, it is a team. A team is going to be patient with you. They're going to be patient. They're going to show a level of patience because they invested so much. Like, think about this, folks. Think about this. The New Orleans Saints traded up to get Marcus Davenport. They traded up to get him from the Green Bay Packers. Okay. The Green Bay Packers got the Saints' first round pick the following year and back in 2019. So the Saints really felt that Marcus Davenport could be the guy to be the successor to Cam Jordan. So I don't think they're going to give up on him that easily. I think it's going to take some time in order for them to say, man, we done with him. And it's not like we haven't seen flashes from Marcus Davenport. We've seen him play well. We know that he can be pretty doggone good. Before he was injured, we have to understand, man, like he was out there balling. 4 out of the 6 sacks that he had that season, last season, was in the last 3 games of the season before he got hurt. So he has promise. And I think us as a Who Dat Nation, we just need to be a tad bit more patient. And yeah, I do understand he's been injured. And yes, I do understand that we could have possibly had Lamar Jackson, a guy who is the reigning MVP. But I'm not ready to give up on Marcus Davenport just yet. Not yet. You know, I think that he is going to be one of those guys that is going to be, you know, probably a late bloomer due to the injuries. But I think people in the Who Dat Nation are going to be ranting and raving about this guy, man. He has that type of talent. Dada Saint said, chilling, bro, getting hyped for the season. Yeah, me too, man. As long as the season actually happens and we don't have any issues or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing with COVID-19 or, you know what I'm saying, like a bunch of players missing and they have to actually cut the season short because of COVID-19. I'm fine. Okay, I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I'm seeing some interviews. I'm seeing some players coming back. They're looking bigger, more physical. I seen a picture of Michael Thomas. This guy's out here looking like a bona fide beast. I seen Andrews Pete. Andrews Pete actually lost 35 pounds in the offseason. He's down to 315. I know a lot of people don't like Andrews Pete, but still a plus. I mean, so many players, man, look like they done bulked up. Even Alvin Kamara, man. Alvin Kamara is looking a little bit different. So I'm excited about that. We got my big brother EJ back. I was just talking a little bit about, you know, being excited about the 2020 season. We see a lot of changes, man. Andrews Pete lost about 30 pounds, man. He's down to 315. You know what I'm saying? Alvin Kamara, like he put on some muscle. Michael Thomas is looking like a bona fide beast. So I think that's going to be, you know, it's going to be really exciting to watch. Chemo says, man, if Davenport plays a full season, no doubt he will have double-digit sacks. He had 6 and didn't play a full season last year. Now that's true. Like I like the optimism of Chemo right there. He had 6 sacks and he didn't even play a full season. So imagine what would have happened later in the season. You know, if he would have played an entire season, he definitely would have had double-digit sacks on that. Let's see. Jared says, who that, Tory? Saints man says, Michael Thomas looked like he smoked a blunt in the recent Insta pic. Hey, man, but hey, he looking like he been in that weight room, man. Dada says, Davenport stay healthy, and I can see him raising hell against offensive line. You know, I was going to say this before we, before we stopped and started to pay attention to the chat. And hold on, wait a minute. I think we had another donation from Zach Streef. Yeah, Zach Streef says, EJ, that was TJ way of saying he like me more than you.
All right.
Hey, no,
all right, that's cool.
No disrespect to Zach Streef. He's a Super Bowl champion. Hey, but I love my brother right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I love my brother. You know what I'm saying? He the reason probably why I'm doing this show right now. You know what I'm saying? Because his love of sports actually, you know, it radiated off him into me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that, Zach. I love you, but I can't say I love you more than my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate that love, man. You taking that baton and you running with it with these interviews.
Hey, man.
I see State of the Saints blowing up. And man, that's thanks to you. You're doing a hell of a job. Non-stop. Seems like you got a video every 2 hours.
Nah, man, look, it's because of these people. Like, you see people like Jerry Poor and, you know, King Arthur Chemo, you know what I'm saying, Josh and Jesus. Man, so many guys, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to, like, you know, forget anybody, but these are the people that make this show what it is, man. It has very little to do with me and everything to do with the support of these people right here. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to them, everybody in the chat right now. But what I was going to say is, when I was talking about Davenport possibly having double-digit sacks, this is what I wanted to say with this. You know, there's a saying, they say iron sharpens iron. There's a video that's going crazy right now on the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page. It was last training camp. Michael Thomas was going up against Marshawn Lattimore. And with the video footage, they had Lattimore really getting the best of Michael Thomas. Now, people have to keep this in mind. That year, Michael Thomas had 149 receptions. Okay. Marshawn Lattimore probably played one of his best seasons in the NFL last season. Iron sharpens iron. I say that to say this. Marcus Davenport is going up against Teron Armstead. You can arguably say, when healthy, one of the top 3 left tackles in football, right? Yep. And if Cam Jordan actually switched sides with him, he has Ryan Ramczyk to go against, which I feel like is the #1 right tackle in football. Okay, So iron sharpens iron, and that's one of the main reasons I feel that he is going to be a double-digit sack defensive end. Because when you're up against elite talent like that, all pro talent like that, you have no choice but to get better. It's rather you get with it or you have to step aside. And I feel like there's no offensive line that he is going to go up against, for the exception of maybe I argue with the Cowboys and the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you can throw it. I'll throw the 49ers too. But if you're not going up against offensive line like that, I feel like you're going up against the best offensive line in practice. But what do you think about that, the iron sharpens iron thing, E?
I agree. I agree. If you're not going up against good competition, how can you become a better football player if you're not going up against this competition? I think that Davenport, he's full of potential. You said he reminds you of Cloudy. I think he reminds me of I think this guy still plays in the league. You remember Jason Pierre-Paul? The guy lost part of his finger. He could do the backflips and everything. Maybe he's not as athletic as a Jason Pierre-Paul, but he is kind of built like him. I think they rush the passer kind of similarly. Right. And I think that Davenport does that I like. He can rush the passer and he can stop the run. When he gets in that backfield, he tackling anything. They got a different color jersey on. And that's the part I think I like about him the most. What I think he needs to do is get up in Whole Foods somewhere, get a nice diet plan, get a nice nutritionist, somebody that can make his meals. Because getting down in New Orleans, come on, let's be real, the dude from Texas, and they got people that's from New Orleans, if I can understand that right. So he has people from Louisiana. So you get down here, you're going to want to eat and everything, but get a nice nutritionist, get somebody that can train them real good, be a field mouse to Cam Jordan, and just soak up as much knowledge as he could, because Cam Jordan is he's a future Hall of Famer.
Yep,
And if you don't learn anything, you learn from that guy or whatever. And he has fun while he's doing it. Right. He said in the interview that he want to have one more sack more than Cam Jordan because he kind of sees it as competition.
Right.
So if that's the way he wants to go, I mean, that's a good one. Him and Cam, I'm sure Cam will oblige him on that through social media or whatever.
Right.
I mean, they can meet each other at the quarterback. I'm sure Saints fans wouldn't care who gets the sack. Just as long as somebody gets the sack. Cam Jordan have 16 sacks and he has 17 and he has 15. I don't think Saints fans would care one iota. They just want that first round production.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like Sean Payton them will want. So
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. You know, I mean, they can have a Freeney and Mathis type thing going. I really feel that way. You know, like you had Dwight Freeney and you had Robert Mathis. I mean, you didn't know where the sack was coming, and sometimes you know they had half a sack because they met at the quarterback. I have no problem with that, and I definitely don't have a problem with the competition aspect because if they're competing against one another, that's benefiting the New Orleans Saints defense. And I think that as long as he has that mind frame and he wants to be great, I think that's a plus for him. Ramsey says, what up, TJ and Big E? I like Marcus Davenport too, but you can't go wrong with adding another yard dog like Everson Griffin or Clowney. I agree with what Ramsey is saying right there. I don't have a problem with Jadeveon Clowney or even Everson Griffin coming to the New Orleans Saints, but I don't feel like it's necessary. The problem, like I think people need to understand, the defense up front was not the problem. The defense up front wasn't the issue with the New Orleans Saints throughout the season. It was the injuries on the defensive line. That 5-game stretch when Teddy Bridgewater was playing, you can arguably say that the New Orleans Saints had the best defense in football. I mean, they was locking folks down, okay? Nobody was running up the middle with Rankins and Brown. And if you throw an Amimata in there, and you had Cam Jordan and Davenport stopping the run up front, okay? I mean, they had a really good defensive line, but out of sight, out of mind, because they were injured, we tend to forget that. And the weeks go by and we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. We're asking the question, why is this happening? And we don't go back and remember those 5 games. So I ask you this, E. Did David Clown and Everson Griffin, do you think it's a necessary evil for the Saints to have right now?
I don't think so. See, it'll be a confusing situation if they was to get Everson Griffin or Jadeveon Clowney because you drafted Davenport as a number 1 draft pick, right? So he's your number 1 draft pick. He's your starter. That's what number 1 draft pick usually do. They usually start. So if you get Everson Griffin, somebody who's like in his 30s, been around, you get Clowney, somebody else that's been around. He's still in his 20s though. Right. Do they start?
No.
Do you bench Davenport?
No.
I mean, somebody's gonna be a situational. Pass rusher, right?
Right.
And you would think if you spend $8-9 million just for 1 year on the Jadeveon Clowney or Everson Griffin, one of them gonna be the starters, right?
Right.
So what's that doing to Davenport's confidence? That's the only question that I have.
Good point.
And another thing too, when Teddy Bridgewater when he played those 5 weeks, I think the offense and the defense were like in sync. And he complimented the defense, I think. They ran the ball more. I think I don't even have to look at the stats. I know they probably ran the ball probably for over about 120, 130 yards a game.
Let me stop you right there, E. Hold your thought. 159 yards from Latavius Murray. He had 159 yards from scrimmage, okay? That's including running the ball and catching the ball out of the backfield. But go ahead, finish. 159.
So that kind of production, obviously, with Teddy Bridgewater in the lineup, I guess Sean Payton was a little bit more conservative, which works for the Saints, especially if you got a defense. The difference between Drew Brees and Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Brees, they tend to throw the ball more with Drew Brees. With Teddy Bridgewater, they tend to run the ball more. So if you run the ball,
really?
I know I cracked that Pandora's box, but they run the ball a lot more with Teddy Bridgewater in the lineup. And if you run the ball a lot more, you have less plays. And if you have less plays, you give the defense more rest to play defense or whatever. Right. That's why I think the defense played better with Teddy Bridgewater.
Right. Well, man, shouts out to my guy Iceman T, because I remember a couple shows back, Iceman T made a very interesting point. Okay, he said, and I don't know if it was him or King Arthur, it was one of those two, but they said maybe the fact that Drew Brees has broken all these statistical records, he got that out of his system. Maybe the Saints will run the ball a little bit more. I feel like the Teddy Bridgewater, I feel like the Teddy Bridgewater system worked for the New Orleans Saints, because here's the thing, and this is the reason why you can get Run the Football t-shirts on Teespring right now, is because we want Sean Payton to run the football, because we in the Who Dat Nation understand that is very, very important, and it's something that you just mentioned, time of possession. Okay, the defense was fresh. They was able to get some electrolytes in their system with Gatorade. They was actually able to get under the fan with the mist. You know, they was able to be cool and be able to go out there because the offense were able to sustain drives. Okay, even if you're running a football, and you're getting about 2 to 3 yards, right? What's happening? In the words of Chris Berman, tick, 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 tick. The clock is still ticking. You're controlling the time of possession. With Drew Brees, everything is about tempo, 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 tempo. Hurry up offense. What happens when you get a Chip Kelly like 3 and out? You know what I'm saying? When you're going to no huddle. What happens then? You're making a defense tired. And we, as fans, are not fully understanding that when you're throwing the ball first, second, and third down, or you're running the ball first down, throwing the ball second and third down, you're
completion, clock stop.
Exactly, E. You're bringing the defense back out there. Guys haven't even gotten any Gatorade. They better get back out there, and you're wearing the defense down. Okay, that's what you're doing. So I feel like when the Saints really commit to running the football, do you hear me, Sean Payton? Running the football, I feel like the New Orleans Saints will be a better team. That's why I feel like they were as successful as they were with Teddy Bridgewater as the quarterback. And they can do it in the most frustrating thing about it, E, they can do it with Drew Brees. Drew Brees will not turn the ball over. He is not one of those turnover-prone quarterbacks. He's not a guy that's going to put the ball in harm's way. So it's not like you can't run the football. Okay, and still on third down, it's like 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1, you can't extend the drive. You know what I'm saying? Because Drew Brees is going to put the ball where it needs to be. Okay, and even if Drew Brees can't get it done on 3rd down, you're still punting the football and the clock is still moving. I feel like it's something that they need to address, E.
They really do need to address it, because when you run the football, history tells us in 2009, the Saints was a top 5 running team or whatever. Last I checked, they won a Super Bowl, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that means the Saints ran the ball. Then they ran the ball. I want to say they might have ran the ball maybe 25, 30 times a game. Yeah. I mean, it's no secret. If you pass the ball a lot more than you run, you won't make it in the playoffs, I don't think. No. But if you can run the ball or pick and choose where you run the ball and pass the ball, I mean, you're a much harder team to predict about what you're going to do. Like on a 3rd and 5,
right?
It might think you're gonna throw the ball, but you can hand the ball off or run a screen or run a draw or something like that and get those 5 yards or whatever. Saints have the personnel up front to throw and or run the ball. I mean, you got Andrews Pete, he came from Stanford. You got Ramczyk, he came from Wisconsin, for goodness sake. I mean, that's all they do is run the ball out there. So you get on boy hog mollies up front. Let them boys run that ball. Shoot.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, man. I mean, Andrews P, who was the left tackle for Stanford, they run a pro-style offense out there. And so does Wisconsin. You know, even though Wisconsin never really just have top-notch quarterbacks, they do run a pro-style. And you know for sure, I mean, they have a long list of guys who have won a Heisman Trophy, been Heisman Trophy of front runners, who have been running backs. So you know they're going to run a ball out there in Wisconsin. You know?
Have things like fullbacks and tight ends and H-backs.
Right.
Stuff that's foreign in today's football. But they have it out there.
Right. Classic football at its best. Teddy Bridgewater says, now that I'm out of here, I can finally admit how much I hate New Orleans and all their fans. Y'all suck, Respect Teddy B food. That's clearly my guy Mike Ricks trolling. Man, shouts out to my boy Mike Ricks, man. He does a Carolina Panthers podcast, man. One half in NFC South versus NFL. But I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, I mean, he did do some good things for the New Orleans Saints, and he is going to be missed, man. A lot of people in the Who Dat Nation are upset that the Saints didn't get opportunity to keep him. So my guy Chosen Kingston, man, says that was actually me who made that statement. Okay, my bad, Chosen. Man, shout out to my guy Chosen, man. Man, y'all check that guy out, man, on Facebook, man. Made a 5-minute video the other day, man, being on some real talk right there. But he says, unless they also had said that about the record being recorded, so now we may run the ball more, but shots to those guys too. Let me say this, man. Let me say this, Chosen. I feel like now that the records are broken, I feel like we can focus on running the football. Okay. And honestly, E, I am going to be upset. Like, y'all think I was upset on draft night. Okay. That is going to be a drop in a bucket if the Saints do not commit to the run. Why in the hell, E, would you even try to draft a center in the first round if you're not going to run the football? Why are you going to extend Andrews Pete, who is more of a run-dominant offensive lineman than a pass-blocking offensive lineman? Why would you? Well, I know why you got Ryan Ramczyk. He a beast. Rather you passing or running, but he is better at the running game. Teron Armstead is better at the running game. Eric McCoy is better at the running game. Why would you go out here and commit to the offensive line if you're not going to commit to the running game? So I feel like if the Saints don't commit to the running game, it's going to be a problem. And y'all going to get some very, very entertaining episodes of the Stay the Same podcast if the Saints do not commit to the run and they aren't at least top 10 in rushing this season. E, do you think the Saints can be top 10 in rushing this season? Is it possible? Is it attainable?
Yep, I think they can be top 10 and they should be top 10. Here's the thing. Cesar Ruiz is a savage when blocking. I mean, you go through that Michigan footage or whatever. I mean, dude is a club bouncer or whatever. He bounced people right about off the defensive line or whatever. That's why they got him. Then he plays center. I mean, they may keep him at center. I think they're going to keep him at center or move Eric McCoy. So they're going to move one of them. I don't think both of them are going to play center. Right. So I do think they should be top 10. They should be top 10 in rushing this year. That's why I think Amara's being juiced in that gym, gaining his weight or whatever. I mean, his regimen is like insane. Right. I mean, you got Latavius Murray, who I thought if they gave the ball when he was playing for Minnesota, they win that game. But you already know you got Taysom Hill doing his run packages and everything. But they should. I anticipate them being top 10. I mean, teams that run the ball tend to win a lot of games and tend to go deep in the play. There's no secret. I mean, this football 101. It's been like this for how many years we've been playing football in the NFL. Right. So, I mean, if you can run the ball, you can go real far. You can win a lot of games. And how many times can they go 13-3 or 12-4 and not reach the promised land? A lot of these players been saying the Super Bowl or bust, and I believe it. I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust. I don't mean no appearance. I mean a win. Right. I mean, it has been over 10 years since we've been to the promised land, and I want to see pigs fly again. It's time for them to run this ball, so that they can have some some lasting success. Because I don't want to see another 13-3, and we lose in a wild card round in the playoffs. I mean, what's the point of that?
It makes no sense, and there is no point. They have to find ways to get it done, and you definitely have to get it done by running the football. I agree with you on that. Josh and Jesus wants to give credit to I be ripping them, man. Man, definitely I be ripping them single-handedly makes this show. No doubt about that. I be ripping them definitely is an official member of the State of the Saints podcast, man. Always coming through with the jokes on the fly. Don't know how he do it, but shouts out to I be ripping them. Let's see. Chemo says, I'm not sure if Emmanuel Sanders was just being nice for Drew, but he said Drew arm strength is there. What you think? Well, look, Chemo, I am going to concede to Emmanuel Sanders because he actually catches passes from Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. So I only can go by what I see. So what I see is noodle arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being real. All I see, Chemo, is noodle arm. Okay, look, I seen the footage. Okay, I seen the footage of Drew Brees throwing a ball, but I also seen that the camera was at an angle where I don't know if the ball was going 20 or 40 yards. You know what I'm saying? And I know, I know a little something about cameras. Okay, I know cameras can make you look like you're doing some of the greatest feats ever. Okay, they made Zion Williamson look like he was cock diesel before they went into the bubble. And we see him out here looking like he a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle away from 299 or 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So I don't buy into what cameras actually show me. What I saw in a playoff, what I saw is I didn't know if I was looking at Drew Brees throw the ball downfield or Thomas Morstead making a punt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
That's the way that the passes were looking when it comes to the deep ball from Drew Brees. So I don't know. But I am going to concede to Emmanuel Sanders, a guy who has caught balls from Drew Brees, who has been out in Denver with Drew Brees, running routes for Drew Brees. So I am going to just say that Emmanuel Sanders is right. And maybe my eyes are wrong. I mean, I do wear glasses, you know what I'm saying? I mean, E, what do you think, man? Drew Brees' arm strength. I mean, do you think it's still there? Is it gone? Noodle arm. I mean, what's that?
Chicken low main noodle. Huh?
Right. Nah, Nesson. You know what I'm saying? We gotta go Nesson. Master P noodle.
Oh, the ramen noodles. Cajun spice, huh?
Right.
Cajun gumbo.
Yeah, noodle on, man. Noodle. Does he have noodle on, man?
Does he have the velocity that he had 5 years ago? No. Can he throw 60, 65 yards? Has he ever thrown 65 yards? I don't know. I don't think he can throw that far no more at age 41. I think Sean Payton has shortened up the playbook because you notice when we had Henderson and we had the Meachams, I mean, every game you can count on Drew Brees throwing the ball at least 50 yards a game, right? On a crossing or a post route or something like that to Meacham. You don't see that stuff no more. You notice a lot of times when they throw the ball downfield, here comes Taysom Hill, and he'll throw it to either Harris or Thomas or somebody else, or Cook or somebody like that. So I don't think he has the long range throwing ability that he once had. But like you mentioned about Emmanuel Sanders know how much they coming on the ball, or how far he throwing the ball. Of course, this is him and Emmanuel Sanders in practice with nobody rushing him up the middle.
Right.
So that you have to take that into account too. You know, the pass rush coming after him. These taller guys, who everybody taller than Drew Brees, coming at him while he's, throwing the ball. So, but I do think his passing, his arm has gotten weaker over the years. I mean, that's expected. He's a 40-year-old man or whatever. No matter how accurate he is, I mean, 40 is 40.
Right.
I hate to say it, but 40 is like 50 in football.
Right.
But I mean, I do think he may not be his arm's better than mine. I got a view on him. I mean, he might have I don't know. I got a romaine noodle. He might have a linguine or fettuccine or something. I don't know.
Right. I mean, I have a statement that I want to make on that point you just made, but get back to the chat. Saints Man says, I feel like Emmanuel Sanders and Janory Jenkins going against each other in training camp will benefit both of them. I agree. I think that both of these guys are guys that the Saints really needed. Janory Jenkins, I just feel like he was a little bit in limbo out there in New York and in St. Louis. I mentioned this on the show a couple times. Janoris Jenkins has never been in a position where he came into the season and he knew for a fact if he does his job, he can possibly make the Super Bowl. I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, when you have Case Keenum, a young Case Keenum throwing you the football, when your quarterback Sam Bradford was always hurt, when Eli Manning was a mere shell of himself, when Daniel Jones, is still trying to develop, he never really had an opportunity to say, man, you know what? I think we can win this season. He now knows that all he has to do is do his job, and I feel like that motivated him. And honestly, I think he was phoning it in for the last couple of years. He was like, man, sure, I ain't trying to get hurt, mess with my money. You know what I'm saying? In case I have to go to another team, I can still get paid. So I think the Saints got really motivated. And when you start getting on the other side of 30, that's when you start thinking about, man, it's about that time, man. I don't know how many years I got left to make a run at the Super Bowl thing. So it can be a plus for him. Emmanuel Sanders, who is already a Super Bowl champion, right now he can cement his legacy and, you know what I'm saying, and be in that upper echelon for the next couple of years as a Saints wide receiver. So, I mean, how many people can actually say that they actually caught passes from 3 Hall of Famers? I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, and now Drew Brees. Emmanuel Sanders holds that title. So, it's definitely going to benefit both of those guys. No doubt about that. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's go to Chosen again. Chosen says, we committed to run the ball in 2009 and we won a Super Bowl. We committed to the run in 2018. We went to the NFC Championship. The front office and Sean Payton should notice, I hate to waste our running backs. That's a good point. Chosen has a good point on that, E. When you run a football, good things happen. Now, I'm preaching to the choir when it comes to running football because, I mean, your classic game, you like a 3-6 game. You know what I'm saying? That's your classic game. You're not really into offense like me. You're more into the defense aspect of the ball and I'm saying the strategic aspect of football. So this kind of is up in your alley. So I understand you know about how important it is to run a football and what it means to you, right?
Yep. I mean, fact of the matter, when you run the football, your defense plays better.
Right.
You chew up that clock. Imagine how at the end of the game, if your time of possession is like 28 minutes to the other team got like 11 or something like that. I mean, that score, I mean, you're going to be blew the team out or whatever. A lot of times, all you have to do is look at the time of possession. Unless you turn the ball over, most times you're going to win the game pretty much.
Right.
So we have Alvin Kamara, 3-time Pro Bowler. You got Latavius Murray, workhorse. Yep. I mean, you got. Do we still have Washington? I believe he has some.
They signed him back, Dwayne Washington.
So he had some good games or whatever. Especially that game, I believe he had against Carolina, with that towards the latter part of the year.
Yep.
So I mean, we ready to run the ball. You run by committee. You have Kamara do the passing things that he does, but that guy, he put on weight. Like you said, we got Cesar Ruiz, we have a McCoy, Ramczyk, we got Pete, we got Armstead, we have him, and we do have we just have a good offensive line. I think everything is set up for us to run. I do think it's a Super Bowl or bust. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's a Super Bowl or bust, and we need to run that ball. Everybody needs to get all hands on deck. We need to get some tight ends in there. Somebody that's going to put some hands on somebody, move them out the way, and just run that ball. We're not in the top 10. I don't think we're going to be where we want to be at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Top 10 or top 5. Yeah. I'm going for top 5 because we got the kind of offensive line and the running back. We got a star running back.
Right.
And you have those two. You could be in the top 5 in the NFL. You know, you got the Ravens. You got the 49ers. Dallas. Those teams like that. I mean, they prefer to run the ball, and that's how that's their bread and butter. And I think that could be ours.
Yeah, I think the Saints need to start moving toward changing their identity because no matter who replaces Drew Brees, and I've said this on several occasions, you know, they're going to have to commit to the run, whether they go young or they go to a guy that's making a transition, because you're not going to have the benefits of a guy who has been in the same system for the past 15 years. You're not going to have that. Rather it's Taysom, rather it's Jameis. The Saints are going to have to change the way that they look at the offense because those quarterbacks, or even if you get a guy out of college, are not going to have the same skill sets and the strengths of Drew Brees. You have guys that probably like a Taysom, who is going to be a scrambler, and can throw the ball down the field. A guy who like Jameis, who can stand in the pocket, who can scramble, but has a stronger arm than Drew Brees. You're going to have to change the offense. And in the meantime, why that quarterback is getting acclimated to the offense, rather it's Jameis, rather it's Taysom, rather it's somebody else. You are going to have to rely on your running game. That is why I feel like it's very important for the Saints to sign these offensive line and get 2 young offensive linemen who you don't have to worry about paying until about year 4, year 5 of their contract. So it's very important for them to understand that and commit to the run. That I really feel that way. Shouts out to Cries, man. Bobby Cries in the building. Man, shouts out to him. Giving a shout out to Dada. Dada Saints fan. Thank you very much for the $8. He says, I've been enjoying the guests you've been bringing on, TJ. Keep up the good work, bro. Man, I appreciate Dada, man. I mean, it's only beginning, man. We are moving forward here in the State of the Saints podcast. The show is about giving you all the best content possible. And, you know, it is full speed ahead here, man. So thank y'all very much, man. Just tune in and just look forward to some bigger and better things from the State of the Saints. Dada also says, he says, chilling, homie. How about you? I guess he's giving a shout out to Cries right there. Bobby Cries, man. Shout out to him. Great human being, man. Always coming through almost every day, man, on Instagram, posting inspirational stuff, man, spiritual stuff, man. You don't know how much that means to me, man. And, you know, I look on that, might be having a bad day. I see something spiritual from Bobby Cries, man, coming through. So, man, shouts out to you, man. Always keeping me spiritually centered. You know what I'm saying? Anicia Anderson says Taysom Hill can and to the right team. I guess you're talking about Taysom Hill can be a starting quarterback right there. Let me see. Also says just wait. I can't wait for Taysom to show y'all what he's got. Well, this is a Taysom Hill supporter right here. Taysom Hill, let's go ahead and talk about him. 15 attempts passing, okay? 15 attempts. Has never really had an extended amount of time under center like Jameis does. Do you think Taysom Hill can be a starter and a successor to Drew Brees?
The only question I have is should we start making up those campaign flights? You know, like you see Quail Gore 1992. Should we have like Taysom Kamara 2021 or something like that? Like we gonna go out and campaign for them boys or something like that. But I mean, the light's gonna be on them next year. I mean, I'm anticipating this man Drew Brees last year.
Yeah, me too.
I think, like I said, Super Bowl or bust. If they don't make the Super Bowl, I think he's gonna exit stage left, and you're gonna see Taysom Hill take the reins. You can compete with quarterback Jameis Winston. Yeah, you can compete with him or whatever. With Jameis Winston has an advantage over because he has a lot more experience than he does. Right. So, and he's already 30 years old. Am I right? It takes him 30, 29, something like that.
He's 30. He's 30 now.
So when you come from BYU, you do that 4-year mission and everything. But yeah, it's gonna be showtime whether he's ready or not. I mean, I think next year is gonna be his year. So I just hope that he knows the playbook. Right. I mean, I'm not gonna dispute the guy's talent. I mean, this guy runs a legit 4.4. He could throw the ball 60 yards. I mean, you seen him. He look like Captain America or whatever. Yeah. I mean, he's cutting everything. Right. I mean, he's stronger than Drew Brees. He has a bigger arm. Yep. But what we love about Drew Brees is his anticipation and his accuracy. Yep. That's what he has probably, I ain't gonna say probably, better than any other quarterback in the NFL, probably in NFL history or whatever. Yeah. If Drew Brees is not in the game, you see him on the sideline having the ball, like pretend like he's visualizing what he's going to do with the ball, making a check down. You remember when he got hurt? What year? This year when he got hurt.
No, that was 2016. That was 2016. I think you're thinking about the McCown game. I didn't see it.
The last game. Yeah,
because he wasn't really around. He wasn't really around Teddy Bridgewater like when Teddy was playing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
When they played, what's that? No, 2015. I would say 2015.
But that was that Carolina game, though. Yeah. You seen him on the sideline with the black jumpsuit just going like that, like he's about to pass the ball. So this dude, everything about him, he anticipate where he's going with the ball. Yep. I think that's why he's so accurate. He can visualize where people are supposed to be. He make the checks. A lot of quarterbacks don't have that. I mean, it'd be nice if Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill had that, but if they have that, I mean, they're gonna win a starting job if they have something like that. So, but it's gonna be showtime for Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. But I think it's gonna be Taysom Hill because it seems like they have a lot invested in him. So I think it'll be him. And honestly, I don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, I hope he does well, but this team has been blocking for Drew Brees for a long time.
Right.
And we have never had somebody as athletic as Taysom Hill in the backfield or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see. I can say that.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I'm saying? I think that Taysom Hill generates excitement. And I think that's the reason why the Who Dat Nation fell in love with him. We in the Who Dat Nation, we love a guy that generates excitement, even if it's a guy that's probably not the best player on the team. I mean, just a couple of years back, you know what I'm saying, like early 2000s, like we loved Michael Lewis, right? Michael Lewis wasn't the best wide receiver on the team, but it was just his story and the fact of him returning kicks and stuff like that. Like we fell in love with him as a player. You know, Pierre Thomas on a much larger scale. He was a guy that worked for everything that he had. In my opinion, he's my second favorite New Orleans Saint of all time. Okay, the fact of how he just came in. Lunch pail mentality. No matter who you brought in to replace him, he still beat him out. Okay, we love Pierre Thomas for that. Darren Sproles, another lightning bug, not the biggest guy in the world, an underdog, if you will. Ran behind LaDainian Tomlinson all those years. I can remember Darren Sproles at Kansas State. We was talking about that off the air a couple of days ago, right? When he played against Oklahoma in that Big 12 championship game.
Single boys by himself.
Exactly. I mean, even like in San Diego, I remember Darren Sproles taking over a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars when the Chargers played him. Darren Sproles, I mean, underdog. We loved them. Mark Ingram, you know what I'm saying, towards the latter years of his Saints career. We started to fall in love with him, how much he generated excitement. And now we fast forward to Taysom Hill, it's the same exact thing. Look, I understand that Who Dat Nation, I get it, E. But at the same time, it's about production. It's about you doing your job. It's about making the best decision for the team, not who's selling the most jerseys, not who I like more, not, when he come in a game, I'm on my feet. No, we're talking about the quarterback position, the most important position on the field. This is the deciding factor if your team is going to be 13-3 or 3-13. And when you have a guy that has 15 attempts, 15, okay, there's a lot of uncertainty about that. And why my Google? Let me unplug this. My Google keep on responding to me. But anyway, look, but 15 attempts, okay, only 15 attempts. I mean, I understand the skepticism in the Who Dat Nation, but I also understand why people are excited about him, because you can arguably say that he was the best quarterback on the field in a wild card game against Minnesota. And you can definitely arguably say if he would have finished the game, the Saints would have beaten the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep. Amen.
I mean, I get it. I mean, there is pros and there are cons. I am one of those people, Ed. I'm willing to reserve my judgment till all the facts come out. Okay. We kind of know what Jameis Winston is. I hate to say it like that, but when you have 4 years of starting experience out there in Tampa, you're throwing interceptions, you're throwing more picks than Razor Ramon back in the early 90s. People kind of understand where you stand, okay? So the only thing Jameis can do is change the narrative of what people think about him, right? With Taysom, you don't know what to think about him. The only thing you have is uncertainty to back up your stance on how you feel about Taysom. So I am going to reserve my judgment till all the facts come up. That's all I feel.
One thing I can say about Taysom, Taysom will make defenses more nervous. Drew Brees, he's in a pocket. He's looking for a receiver. He's anticipating where the receiver's going to be. He's more about accuracy. He's not going to run the ball like at all. He'll take a sack for you and run the ball. He might throw it away. Taysom Hill, you have a lot to worry about. He got this big arm. He's elusive. He's fast. I mean, he's big. So you got to rush him with a different mindset, pretty much. I mean, you got to rush him kind of almost half-hearted.
Right.
So if you rush him too much, you're elusive enough, you're going to run, and it might be a 60, 70-yard game or something like that.
Right.
That's another element that the Saints have never had, probably in, what's this, Archie Manning, maybe?
Right.
I mean, and that's, you going back, 50 years or so.
Yeah.
So the Saints have never had that kind of element at the quarterback position.
Right.
He say Aaron Brooks, I guess, but yeah, he'll scramble or whatever. But I mean, it's something to think about or whatever. We have a unique quarterback. He'll be dynamic in a sense.
Yeah, and also he is the wave now. You know what I'm saying? You want a quarterback. The quarterback that's the statue, the Drew Bledsoe, the Robo-Sack, Rob Johnson back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Those quarterbacks are passe. Even Tom Brady, Drew Brees, those quarterbacks that are statuesque in the pocket, those guys are passing away. You're looking at guys like Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, one of my favorite quarterbacks right now, Russell Wilson. These guys can scramble around in the pocket, extend plays. You can even throw Big Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I'm saying? A lot of park ball was being played out there in Pittsburgh when plays break down and guys have to break off their routes. This is what teams are going to now. You look at the last two MVPs, that's what made them special, Patrick Mahomes, you know what I'm saying? Running out of the pocket, throwing the ball 60 yards down the field. Lamar Jackson can get out of the pocket, make somebody miss, extremely elusive, throw the ball to the tight ends, Hurts, you know what I'm saying? And all the other tight ends they have out there. Throw the ball off to Mark Ingram, you know what I'm saying? Willie Snead in them, you know? So that's the new wave right now. And Taysom Hill kind of fits that mold. And if you notice, a lot of teams are starting to mirror what the Saints have done with Taysom Hill. Case in point, Philadelphia going out there getting Jalen Hurts so early in the draft. So I seen Jamaica. I think no, that's Anissa. Anissa mentioned this, and that's probably why I'm thinking about this. She said Sean Payton knows his talent. Sean Payton knows his talent. That's true, but Sean Payton also knows that's the way that the NFL is going. And don't think that Sean Payton is too proud to try to mirror what he actually sees. I know a lot of people remember that mistake named Jarius Byrd that came to the New Orleans Saints. But the reason he came to New Orleans is because the Saints wanted to do what Seattle did, right? They wanted to play man-to-man defense. That's why they went go get a tall, lengthy Keenan Lewis. That's why they went out there and drafted a Stanley Jean-Baptiste, who was a huge You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, they thought they had Richard Sherman. They thought they had, you know what I'm saying, the other cornerback on the other side, Brandon Browner. They thought they had Earl Thomas in the middle with Jarius Byrd, and they tried to mirror that. Okay, that's why they brought in Rob Ryan to coach the defense. So don't think that Sean Payton is too proud that he won't change anything about the team. So Taysom Hill can be the starter, especially if Sean Payton is looking around the NFL and seeing that that's the wave right now, a scrambling quarterback. Jamaica says, I do feel if he was in the Vikings playoff game earlier, it would have made a difference. I agree. She's talking about Taysom Hill. And she also said, let me see, Cook got hurt. He was a difference maker in that game. I guess talking about the 49ers game, if I'm not mistaken, man.
When they knocked him out on purpose?
Yeah, you already know that. You already know, man. Look, 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Okay, I ain't seen nothing like that since I seen somebody play Madden on rookie. You know what I'm saying? That's the last time I seen something like that. He was a difference maker. You know what I'm saying? He was a difference maker, straight up.
Yeah, they have nobody on that team on defense that could stick him.
Nope.
So basically, after that second touchdown, you got to get out of here and get him out of here. And that's exactly what they did. He was on a concussion protocol, so he out of the game, and he couldn't play the game after that one.
Right.
So they had to get him out of there, whatever.
Yeah, and if you look at the 49ers defense, the entire season, they struggled when they went up against tight ends. Those linebackers that they had, they were really good at tackling. But when it came to coverage, they struggled.
Nope.
I mean, them losing Reuben Foster really hurt them.
Alexander,
and Quan Alexander, that really hurt them. So Those guys were good. They were good tacklers, and they can run sideline to sidelines, but they could not guard the running backs or the tight ends.
And you spoke about the new quarterbacks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
These tight ends, they like wide receivers. I mean, you look at a George Kittle, he's a big guy, but this guy can run. You look at O.J. Howard. I mean, you look at tight ends like this. These tight ends, they got hands and they can run. So if you put a 250, 245, 260 pound linebacker on a tight end, I mean, they got to be able to run. They got to be able to change directions. They got to be able to jump.
Right.
And if they can't do that, they're in trouble.
Exactly.
So that's like the quarterbacks evolving these tight ends. They ain't blocking no more.
Right.
They going downfield catching 40, 50-yard touchdowns. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why scouts, you know what I'm saying, why head coaches will say to these scouts, hey, why you going to the football game, after the football game, go stop by that basketball gym and see who got a lot of promise.
Yeah, see who's jumping high out there. See
exactly. See who that power forward is who not going to transition to the NBA. Let's see if we can make him a football player. Let's look at that guy, Jameis Winston says, first off, thank you for the $5, Jameis. He says, you tell him, TJ, I'm more elusive than a snowstorm in Texas.
Man, that's elusive right there.
Hey, man, I done slid on a patch of ice a couple times out there when it snowed in Texas. Out there in Dallas when I stayed there, man. Jamaica, man, she's active tonight. She says, yes, Sean Payton setting the tone that everybody following. Man, shouts out to all the female viewers of the State of Saints podcast and all the female members of the Who Dat Nation, man, coming through tonight. And they holding the show down, man. They definitely know their stuff or the State of the Saints. We got Cries on his petty. Says Niners cheap shots on Cook. Man. Exactly. Then we got a cheap shot. Then we got Nola E74 says San Francisco been playing dirty ball. Okay, another guy on his petty tonight.
Do we have the Niners on our own schedule this year?
Yeah, we do. We got another home game against the 49ers this
season. So they okay. Yeah, we got to get them boys.
Yeah.
Because when I was at the airport or whatever, them boys came through there. When they came to the Bourbon Street, they came through the airport. Well, it was very disrespectful. They came through, they was playing the 40. They had their jerseys and their jackets. They was deep down here, bro. When I tell you, they shut down Bourbon Street.
Yeah. So
we got to get them boys this year. I mean, we owe them some.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say they reached Cowboys level with us, but I mean, we got to get them.
Man, look, don't get me started on the Cowboys, man. I'm having a good night. My birthday in a couple hours, you know what I'm saying? I'm having a good night here, so I don't want to talk about no Dallas Cowboys ruined my mood, but we already know how it turned out for them, right? They were the ones that started that. They had the little second line down there. I like to call it the debt march. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, they just walking down to their grave when the Saints beat them. You know what I'm saying? So the 49ers, they got lucky. You know what I'm saying? That was a good game, exciting game if you like points, but we're going to get them back. We're going to get them back. Winwit says, Jameis is our Doug Williams. That's a good. Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. That's actually a really good example. I guess you can even make parallels to it because they both played for Tampa. Okay, and they both got got cut. You know what I'm saying?
So let's hope it's. I mean, let's hope the same thing happened with Doug Williams happens with Jameis. He won a Super Bowl and he was Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
so I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too, man. I'm not mad at that at all. Earl says, we will get revenge on the 49ers. Earl, I like that energy right there that you're spreading. Cross says, Adam Trotman is the future at tight end, though. Adam Trotman is a very interesting player. He's a guy that came into the NFL with very little fanfare, coming from a lowly college, Dayton College, got an opportunity to go to the combine, blew it out the water. The Saints ended up going to the third round, moving back into the third round to get him. What do you think about Adam Trotman? A lot of people are comparing him to people like Rob Gronkowski and George Kittle, dude. What do you think about Adam Trotman? What do you expect from him in his rookie season?
I think it's right out of the Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis playbook or whatever. You look at our history. We get these stones. I mean, we get these stones and we get these diamonds out of these small schools or whatever. When you go to Bloomberg, you get Jari Evans. You go to Hofstra, nobody even heard of Hofstra before.
They don't even have a football team no more.
Sure don't. You go away to Jersey or whatever and get Marcus Coasting or whatever. Nobody seen him coming. You go to Arkansas State, you get a Tyron Armstead or whatever. So
Arkansas Pine Bluff, man. We gotta give
my bad.
We gotta give credit to the SWAC, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta give credit to the SWAC.
My bad. That they call Pine Bluff. But I mean, we got to give these guys credit. They talent scouts, Jeff Ireland or whatever, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton, and the people that don't get seen, the people that actually go to these colleges and go to these all-star games that they have at the end of the year and scout these guys or whatever, because they always turning up talent, people you never heard of. I follow college football, so I know all about the big schools and the Memphises and all of these people.
Right.
But when you come from Bloomsburg College at Regina, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You know what I mean?
Regina.
Yeah, Regina. You're playing college football in Canada.
Vagina. We all come. I would just leave that alone. That's another show. But
I mean, you playing college football in Canada or whatever. I mean, if you can play football, and no matter what college it is, the Saints gonna find you. Yeah. And I think that this guy, if they went through all this to get this guy, they didn't want nobody else to find him, and they see something in him. They real good at developing people. I'm just interested to see how they're gonna develop this dude as a tight end.
Right. I think he's gonna do a good job, E. And you hit the nail on the head. A guy who I feel like the Saints need to lock up, you know what I'm saying, hold down in the basement. Jeff Ireland, you know what I'm saying? Jeff Ireland is going to be somebody's GM, and I am going to shed tears when this guy leaves the New Orleans Saints organization. Now that you actually have these rules in place where teams can actually interview these guys without the consent of the team they actually represent, this is going to be very, very scary. We could possibly lose Jeff Ireland this year. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the year. And that's going to be a dark day in New Orleans. I don't think people understand how special this guy has been since he came to the team in 2016. He has given us people like Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Marcus Williams, Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk. The list goes on and on. Not to mention, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about this, E. Texas A&M is not known for running a football, right? They're known for throwing the football all over the place. For you to go out here to find a center and Eric McCoy, a center is mostly, you know what I'm saying, you really focus on them when a team actually runs the football. You find him in the midst of a team that just throws the ball all over the place. You find Alvin Kamara, who went from Alabama to a community college to Tennessee. You find him. You find Ryan Ramczyk, who was on a line full of way better offensive line in college at the time than he was. This guy is amazing. Okay, this guy is amazing. And I'm telling you, I am going to shed tears when the Cleveland Browns or the Giants or even, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Falcons might end up getting Jeff Ireland. And it is going to hurt, okay? Because I feel like the reason why we love, you know what I'm saying, we have found forgiveness in our hearts for Mickey Loomis is because if I put it to you like this, if Mickey Loomis is Brad Pitt and Jeff Ireland is Jonah Hill, if you ever seen the movie Moneyball, okay, Brad Pitt was the GM. He hired you know what I'm saying? He Jonah Hill. He hired Jonah Hill to be the analytics guy, and he turned around the Oakland A's organization. That's the way I look at Jeff Ireland and Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis gets the credit, but Jeff Ireland is the man. And I'm telling y'all, if you don't believe me, I'm telling you, if I hear a report that Jeff Ireland is gone, man, I'm gonna shed some tears. That's how good and how special that guy is.
I think Jacksonville might holler at him or whatever, depending on how good of a season the Saints have. I can see them. If Jacksonville don't have a winning season, if the Falcons don't have a winning season, they're going to clean house. And those two teams, I think, might try to poach them, especially if the Saints go to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl or something like that.
Man.
That always happens with teams that win. When you win, you lose coaches and players pretty much. Most likely coaches.
Right.
So I think that'll happen.
Yeah, man, I'm just being 100, man. Jeff Ireland is one of the best executives the Saints have ever had.
Yep.
His role is an assistant GM, but he might as well just be the GM. This is the equivalent, and I'm pretty sure anybody that works in retail, you know what I'm talking about. It's like having that assistant manager that does everything, have the store manager who sits in the office and reaps the benefits. That is what Jeff Ireland has been. That is what he is. He is the Jonah Hill to Mickey Loomis, Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's facts, man. He's amazing, man. Amazing GM.
Like having a good salesman at a car dealership.
Yes.
But the person that's named on a car dealership, he gets all the credit. So exactly. Yeah, that's what that's like.
Exactly. The one that's making the sales is not the one whose name is on the marquee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let's talk a little bit about Emmanuel Sanders. A couple questions came through, but we really didn't talk about him in depth. Emmanuel Sanders, who actually shares the same first name as you, he is now with the New Orleans Saints, and a lot of people think that this is a good move, man. I never really asked you, what do you think about this acquisition of Emmanuel Sanders, and what do you think he can bring to the New Orleans Saints organization?
Well, I think Emmanuel Sanders, he can bring toughness. Mm-hmm. That other than Michael Thomas, I'm gonna be honest, we didn't have a lot of dogs, a lot of savages on our offense or whatever. I mean, you had Michael Thomas and maybe you had Cooks.
Right.
Other than that, you ain't had nobody that's willing to go across the middle and stiff arm the hell out of somebody just to get a few extra yards. Emmanuel Sanders, as diminutive as he might be, as small as he might be,
right,
he can give you those catches.
Right.
Mike Thomas had over 140 catches last year.
Right.
If Emmanuel Sanders can get half of that, I think he's doing his job. We brought him in so he could take catches away from Michael Thomas. Right. Some people stopped double teaming Michael Thomas. I mean, it didn't work last year. Right. With Emmanuel Thomas, he has speed. He can play the X, Y, Z position at wide receiver. He can go across the middle. Yep. He can hit you deep. And we need somebody like that. You put Emmanuel Sanders on one side and you put Michael Thomas on the other side. You put Cooks in the middle. You line Kamara, run him out the backfield to the line. I mean, there's four receivers. Like, who could stick those four receivers?
Good point.
Then you sprinkle in a Traquan Smith or the punter the punter that we have or whatever, that kick returner that we have. You line him up. Now you all of a sudden you got 5 wide receivers.
Right.
So I don't know what 5 cornerbacks in America could stick those 5, like on our offense or whatever.
Right.
But back to Emmanuel Sanders, I mean, he brings veteran leadership. Mm-hmm. He brings talent, speed, and toughness that hopefully can rub off on people like Traquan Smith and LaMichael Humphreys and all the rest of the wide receivers that we have.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, when you look at people like Lil Jordan and you look at people like Emmanuel Butler and you look at people like even Deontay Harris, I think that especially Deontay Harris, when I'm thinking about this, a smaller guy, because Emmanuel Sanders is like 180. I mean,
so
I would be surprised if Deontay Harris is 180,
70, 160.
I mean, now he looks like he put on a few more pounds. He might be 180 now, but last season he definitely wasn't. He probably like 160, give or take. But I say that to say this, and there's one thing I have to say I kind of disagree with you on. It was the fact that you're talking about Emmanuel Sanders being on the outside dominantly. I don't believe that's going to happen. I feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to put him in the slot. And the reason I'm saying this because when I had the interview with Mike Triplett, and those that didn't check it out, you can check it out on the State of the Saints podcast page. He mentioned Traquan Smith moving to the outside. If you looked at Central Florida, when he played in college, where did he play? He played on the flank, on the outside, most of the time. And him having to move to the inside because Ted Ginn Jr. was on the outside, opposite of Michael Thomas, he had to learn a completely different offense, a completely different position that he was not prepared for. Yep. Now you have a person that has played the slot the majority of his career in Emmanuel Sanders. Now Traquan Smith can actually move to the outside, and you can utilize his speed on the outside now. and some of the things that actually got him drafted to the Saints in the 3rd round. The Saints, I mean, you can benefit from that now. So this is why when I left the conversation with Mike Triplett, I completely changed my mind and reserved my judgment when it came to Traquan Smith, is because I didn't think of it that way. That is a very good point.
That just made me realize something or whatever. Because I mean, to be honest, he probably wasn't ready for that action playing in the middle. Yeah. You need somebody tough. You need somebody that can make some catches and somebody that can take a hit if you play in that slot position or whatever. Right. Emmanuel Sanders, he may be small, but he's fast, and it's hard to get a good hitter on him. Right. Traquan Smith, if he has been playing on the outside, he's a nice size receiver. He has good speed, so he can play on the outside or whatever. Now I get somebody. I mean, Michael Thomas not the fastest guy in the world, but Michael Thomas is a bully. I mean, he's gonna push off. He's gonna outrun folks. He's just tougher than everybody else, so he's gonna make catches. Right. Traquan Smith, I don't think he's that. I don't know if he's ever gonna be that, but him playing on the outside, he can utilize that speed because I mean, he has it. I mean, that's why they drafted him. So I do think this. I mean,
make a break.
Could be a good
Make a break. This is make a break. This is a make or break year for Traquan Smith, but once again, there are some guys that are not built to play on the inside, bro. Like it's just a fact. For those that played the wide receiver position, you know that if you're playing in the slot, you better be tough as hell because you cannot see where the defense is coming. They can blindside and ear hole tackle you, and you will not see it coming. You have to be a special type of crazy. That's like what I like to call it, a special type of crazy to play that position. Traquan, who I feel like, once again, went to Central Florida, he was faster than everybody else on the outside, He was faster than everybody on the outside. And that was beneficial to his success at Central Florida, which got him drafted. The Saints thought that they can utilize his speed and his size, and they can put him on the inside, and maybe they can have lightning in a bottle, a possible second coming of a Lance Moore or Willie Snead. Reality is he is not that guy. You can say, and I can understand people saying this, and I'm seeing it in the chat. I even seen my guy Bobby Cross say this. He is a little soft to be playing in the slot. You know what I'm saying? The outside is a little bit more of a finesse type position. Okay, it's about style and grace and finesse and speed and hands. You got to be the man. You got to be tough as a $2 steak in order for you to play the slot position and be successful at doing so. So I understand it.
I think of Danny Amendola. I think of Cooper Kupp. I think of receivers like that plays in the middle and plays in the slot that can probably get you 70, 80, maybe 90 catches a year. And those guys are tough. A lot of the time, if you set the runner route 5 yards and in, you're running into linebackers and everything. Right. The idea you running these routes not always is to catch the ball. It's to be like a diversion to keep the linebacker, give the linebacker something else to worry about. Right. So it might open up somebody that's running a route right behind you. It might be running a post, might be running some kind of corner route or whatever. So you got to do your job. Even if that means catching the ball and getting laid out by a linebacker or whatever. So you got to learn, you got to take those hits.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, E. I think Sean Payton loves those bigger wide receivers to play on the inside because, number one, he understands Drew Brees' deficiency, you know what I'm saying, which is not throwing the ball down the field. And when you have a bigger guy on the inside going up against that smaller 180, 190 nickel corner, he automatically wins the matchup, man. Yep. 180 pound going up against a 215, 220 pound wide receiver. Yep. It's like having a third tight end on the field, right? It's like having a third tight end on the field, a third tight end that can actually get yards after the catch. Yep. That is why people say, man, when they look at people like Jared Cook, they think he's so dynamic because he's a tight end that can get yards after the catch versus a guy like Jason Witten, who is just going to catch the ball and he's going to get tackled right after.
10 yards,
exactly. So you have a wide receiver who actually has the skills to outrun that nickel corner, get yards after the catch, break some tackles because this 180, 190 yard nickel corner doesn't have the strength to try to bring down a guy that's 220 pounds. So I understand why he wants to bring Traquan Smith in from Central Florida to play on the inside. But once again, you have to be a different type of crazy, a different level of crazy in order for you to play in a slot. And Traquan Smith is not that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen him take some tough hits. That hit that KZ put on him, the safety for the Falcons. I think another play against the Philadelphia Eagles. He'll catch those tough passes, but I still don't believe he's built like that. I don't think he's built that way. I really don't.
I don't think he is either. I want to make a comment about Emmanuel Butler.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
just wondering, like, when they're gonna take this bubble wrap off this man, so we can actually see him in a game. Because training camp, I mean, the dude. Have you seen this dude up close? This dude is huge. This dude's cut.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like. I guess you could say a prototypical tight end, not a wide receiver, because the dude is like 6'4". He's every bit of like 220.
Right.
I mean, he closest thing that looks like him is Megatron.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, like, when will we see this guy in a game? I mean, I think he's like the mystery man, he's the mystery man of the group. I mean, I'm just wondering, with no preseason too, are we going to see this guy in a regular season? I mean, I think it's about time that they take the plastic off of this guy and just get him out there so he can play.
Right.
Where will he play? Fifth receiver, sixth receiver. I mean, where would he play? I'm anxious to see this guy play because according to the potential, and he's been with the team 2 years now. I mean, it's time to play. If not now, when?
Right. Well, I have to go back to the interview with Mike Triplett. He's a guy that's a huge supporter of Emmanuel Butler, and he talked about him being hurt. And he also talked about the fact that how nervous he was in those preseason games. You know what I'm saying? The game against the Chargers, even though throughout the week at training camp when they had, you know what I'm saying, they had practice against the Chargers, he was dominating those guys. In practice, he was doing some good things. When he played against the Miami Dolphins, he was playing scared. So the Saints really like his ability. They like his upside. They like his skill set, but they felt as if he struggled when it came to the blocking, and he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be to play the position. So I understand the red shirt year that they gave him. I mean, like you said, 6'4", 225, 230. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? You don't want to give up on that easy. That's the reason why the Saints kept guys like Adrian Ayrton back in the day and Brandon Coleman. So they know that this guy has great upside. And they know that they don't want to just get rid of him that easily. They want him to try to work in a system and see if he can actually develop. And who knows, maybe he'll be that Brandon Coleman type wide receiver where they lined him up on goal line situations. Or he's the guy that we've been talking about for the last 10 minutes, could play in the slot, that can be that big body, that can catch the ball and get yards after the catch. He possibly could be that guy. I mean, I don't think this is one of those guys that people need to give up on because we don't know enough about him. We don't know it. We don't know what he can bring to the table. I think that we need to be patient with him, but I think that the Saints are really going to try to use him. The fact that he's been in the system all year, and I think they're going to try to unleash him this year. I think they're going to have a package strictly for him.
Yeah, it'd be nice to put him like that in a goal line package. It's seen as though, I mean, this guy's sculpted. I mean, I could see them putting him in a goal line package. So we'll say like Taysom Hill.
Right.
Putting him in a package and run him out on a bootleg and have this guy maybe on a linebacker or a safety. And it don't matter who you put on. The dude is 6'4", 220. Right. Anybody you put on is a mismatch. Right. So, but like you said, I mean, you got to get game acclimated and everything.
Right.
So I think we'll see him this year, though. I'm optimistic. I think we'll see him for a few snaps a game.
Right. I think so too, man. I agree with you on that. No argument here. Winwood says, I think Traquan can thrive. This is interesting. He can thrive with Winston because Winston can hit that deep ball consistently, but he's looking like a bust right now. I have to say I agree. I have to say I agree because Jameis Winston does cater to the strength of Traquan Smith. He's a deep ball guy. He's a guy that can get past and blow past somebody on the defense. And like I said, the opportunity that Emmanuel Sanders gives him, the fact that Emmanuel Sanders can move into the spot where he was, and he can actually move to the outside, going into his third season, I think that it will benefit him. And if Jameis was the quarterback, he can get the ball down the field. I think he would thrive. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I will say this: he played much better when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So that's this. And this one will be the last of the night. It's coming from Bobby Cross. He says, keep an eye on an undrafted wide receiver from Tennessee and Oregon, Callaway Jawan Johnson. Yeah, these are two guys right here that everybody talks about. Marcus Callaway. Mike the Ted actually mentioned him. He says he's looking forward to seeing him. So he's a guy that has a lot of confidence, a guy that has a lot of belief in himself. And he also mentioned, I mean, come on, man. I mean, when the last time Tennessee actually had a quarterback that we actually cared about, T. Martin? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, give me a break, man. I ain't about to say Chris Sims because he was hot garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, was that Chris Sims who played for the Tennessee? What Sims was that?
I don't know. It went Chris. He played with Texas.
Yeah, he played with Texas. It was one of the Sims. It was one of the Sims that actually played with him, but he was trash too. But anyway, Tennessee, you know what I'm saying, has not had any quarterbacks that to rant and rave about. Okay, so you can say that Marcus Callaway actually got lost in the shuffle, just like Alvin Kamara kind of got lost in the shuffle. So, Jawan Johnson, Marcus Callaway, who you looking forward to seeing out of these two guys, or could it be both?
I mean, it could be both. Jawan Johnson, I believe he came from Oregon.
Right.
I remember him being a playmaker. He can score touchdowns probably from anywhere on the field. Thing about it is, what hurts both of these guys, both of them play the same position, first of all. And second, no preseason. So how these guys can get on the field unless it's in practice?
Right.
So we're not going to be able to actually see these guys on the field unless they coming in on – they're going to play special teams. If they actually make the team, it'll be special teams. That's probably where they're going to make their mark.
Good point.
Where they could make a mark also maybe being like kickoff returns or something like that. But there's three things you know about the Saints and about life: debt, taxes, and the Saints like to keep a lot of wide receivers on the roster. So how many wide receivers you think they'll keep this year? My money may be on 8 to 10. Usually they'll have 6 or 7 on the active and 3 on the practice squad. You think it could be more than that or less?
Wait. I take that back because I just thought about something. You got to account COVID-19. So, yeah, I will say, yeah, they're going to keep 8. Now, if this was a regular season and not like something we never seen before dealing with COVID, I would say 6. They would go with 6. But since you have to keep guys on your roster because you don't know if a guy can go down, you know what I'm saying, being COVID-19 protocol, as they call it, I think so. I have to agree with you on that. But
think about it, I didn't add that to the equation either.
Right.
So hypothetically speaking, if a wide receiver get on the COVID list, obviously they can't play. That might be an opportunity for one of these two. So I didn't even think about that. Right. Hopefully, knock on wood or whatever this is I'm knocking on, that don't happen. But that might be an opportunity for one of these receivers. I mean, they have a lot of talent. Right. I kind of think both of them might wind up on a practice squad, to be honest.
Right.
But that's an opportunity.
Good play for him.
It is.
Good play for him. I mean, if you're on a practice squad, at least you're still on a team. And there's a strong possibility that you can be activated. Right. Lil Jordan Humphrey was put on the practice squad, brought up to the main roster at least twice, 3 times last season, right? So just because you're on the practice squad don't mean it's a death sentence for that particular season. Just means that you're on the roster, and if you show and you can prove yourself, then you can actually make, you know what I'm saying, the roster, you know, maybe somebody go down. Like I said, this is probably one of the best opportunities for people on the practice squad dealing with COVID-19 that they would have to actually come in and play in real-time games and actually have to do something on the field. Marquez Callaway, he's very interesting to me. Not so much Juwan Johnson. I feel like, I hate to say it, and no disrespect to him, but I feel like his skill set kind of comes a dime a dozen, and especially when you look at some of the players that the Saints have. Marquez Callaway is a guy that plays with a lot of confidence. He has elite speed, and we seen Deontay Harris get injured and was out a couple games, and the Saints kind of struggled in special teams. And now that you're actually trying to mold Taysom Hill into being possibly the successor to Drew Brees, you know they're going to try to remove him from special teams duties. They're not going to try to put him out there. Mm-hmm. So if Deontay Harris end up getting hurt, I would be very comfortable with Marquez Callaway filling in, because he did do it a lot in college, and he was successful at doing it. So I would like Marquez Callaway more so than Juwan Johnson. I feel like he will be a practice squad member if he can beat out Lil Jordan Humphreys. I need to see a little bit more from Lil Jordan, but he does have an advantage, the fact that he played with the Saints since last training camp. Okay, so, and you have to account the fact that Juwan Johnson, no OTAs, no mini camp, none of that stuff like that. Can't go out there and work out with Drew Brees. Can't be at the facilities or anything like that. So, Lil Jordan Humphreys, Manuel Butler has the advantage over Callaway and Johnson. But I'm not saying that these guys can't make the team. I think Marquez Callaway has a better chance than Juwan Johnson, though. But I want to go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Another thing, too, and then we'll wrap up. I heard you mention in your interview with Mike Triple, I believe it was. You mentioned something about, with the basketball terminology, load management.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they really didn't have a training camp and no preseason, I think that's a true possibility this year. I mean, if you have people that can actually play football, and let's be real, when the season starts, these guys, I don't think they're going to be in football shape. You need a whole true program to actually get in football shape. You need reps. You need the weights. I mean, you need the time to recover and everything. I think the football season is starting kind of fast without a preseason, without a true OTA. So I think they will have load management for some teams.
True.
I think just like every year, but more so this year, the healthier team is going to win a Super Bowl, I think, more this year than any other year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to get that bye and everything, but you look at it, they can have nothing but a regular season. Right. And I believe, aren't they adding another regular season game at the end of the year? So instead of 16 games, isn't it like 17 games this year?
It's going to be next year. It's going
to be next year. So they moved it back. So still 16 games. These guys didn't have an OTA or a preseason. Right. So that load management might be a reality. I mean, it might be a true reality, especially for a team like the Saints.
Well, I don't see that happening, I think that Drew Brees is too proud of a quarterback, being 41 years old and all. I understand. That's something that you want to consider. But I just don't see that happening, man. And I just think that you are going to have some growing pains due to the fact that guys are not going to be where you want them to be as far as strength and conditioning. There's only so much you can do with so much so limited at your disposal, you know what I'm saying, at the time. But I do feel like there are going to be some issues, but the Saints have something that other teams don't have, and that is chemistry. Guys know each other, understand the tendencies. You got a few sprinkles here, a few sprinkles there, guys that are going to be starters for the team. But for the most part, about 95% of the Saints team is still intact, okay? The other 5% that came in, rather it be draft or in the offseason as free agent acquisitions, those guys are going to have to get up to speed. But 95% is a pretty huge slice of the pie, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that it's going to benefit the New Orleans Saints. I mean, when you look at people like Tom Brady, who has been talking and stuff like that, talking about he don't even know if he knows the playbook yet or anything like that out there in Tampa. So the Saints, at least you know that Michael Thomas knows the playbook. Traquan Smith knows the playbook. We talked about Lil Jordan Humphreys, Emmanuel Butler know the playbook. Kamara and Murray know the playbook. On the defensive side of the ball, Jordan, Davenport, Rankins, etc., they know the playbook. So the Saints already have the advantage, and you have to believe that that is going to be beneficial to them, no matter if they do decide to give Taysom Hill a little bit more plays and allow Drew Brees to sit on the sidelines. in order for them to kind of get him, you know what I'm saying, up to peak condition for the long haul of the season. But I want to say thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Please check out the State of the Saints podcast on Facebook, facebook.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes, of course, are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com, and you can also access the State of the Saints podcast by using Alexa. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play the State of the Saints podcast, and also on Google Mini, which I just found out. All you have to say is say, hey, Google, play the State of the Saints podcast, and it will play it for you. But I want to say thank you to my big brother, EJ. Before we sign out, man, let everybody know how they can reach you.
Reach me at Emmanuel Jones Sr. at Facebook. That's why I be Emmanuel Jones Art at Instagram, Twitter, maybe on TikTok apparently. So I mean, you can follow me at any of those four pretty much.
Well, as long as Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, don't get rid of it, you're on TikTok.
Yeah. Famous crossed on that.
Man, but thank you so much, man. It's always fun to link up with you, man. You already know what you mean to me, man, and you know how important you've been in my life, especially when it comes to doing shows like this. I really do appreciate it. And, you know, so I'm looking forward to doing shows with you in the future. And I'm definitely looking forward to our show that we're going to be launching every Sunday before and after Saints games, man. We're going to give you more information in a couple weeks, man. Looking forward to doing that podcast with you. So thank you so much. And thank you all in the chat, members of the Who Dat Nation. I am TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And all I got to say is,